Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Aged Boomer. This is my co-host, Papa Pacelli,
Hello, hello.
and here we are, another week in entertainment news. What's the mood out there? You think, huh?
Well, among the people I associate with, pretty darn good.
Among the elites in the entertainment industry, they're still going nuts.
Well, that's like I said, among the people that I hang out with.
We didn't pick this article for tonight, but Rachel Ziegler just you got it. They done done.
Oh yeah. Actually,
It
WDW Pro has a bit out, and I haven't watched it. Just don't assume too much based on titles. But the title was something like Disney turns away from politics. So I'll be interested to see what that's all about and see if that might have something to do with the whole Rachel Zegler thing. I
I
mean, the fact is, she did put out an apology. And
Yep.
if I had any reason to believe that it was in any way a sincere apology, I would say it was a pretty good apology, which tells me she didn't write it.
Of course
Somebody
not.
else wrote it for her.
Disney needs
It's
to get. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's about time, right? Whether it was Disney or her publicist or whoever it was, they are way past due to be doing this. So all I can say is it's about time. Too little, too late. I don't think there's anybody who wasn't already a complete Disney / Rachel Zegler stan is buying this.
They need to release that movie and get it over and done with. Get the Snow White
Or
movie out,
they
and we
need
can
to
move on.
or they need to take a tax write-off on it and
They're not
never
doing it.
release
They're
it.
not going to do it. They would have done it by now. I mean,
I don't know what's going to be worse. To the egg on their face for releasing this, or the pummeling they're going to take when it crashes and burns at the box office.
I don't know. I don't understand them. Like the Tom Hanks Pinocchio movie was straight to Disney Plus. And granted, that didn't look that great either, but I think that would have stood a better chance at the box office than than the Snow White movie at this point. All right. Say hi to the chat. Hello, Horizon Talker. Welcome. Hello, Chris P. Always good to see you. Good evening, gents. Have a great live stream. We will. Thank you. Connie Cleary, welcome. Unscripted Ray, welcome. Deleted Scenes. He was saying we need to be the change we want to see, I think, right? Or we need to, the fans need to start making the stuff, I think. That was the gist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I was just watching a Culture Casino video from, I don't know if it was earlier today or yesterday. Stuff kind of stays in my suggest to watch because of what I watch a lot. And I said, okay, I'll watch this. And he's basically saying, yeah, people aren't going to the movies anymore. Honestly, people on YouTube are making the entertainment these days.
Connie Cleary. Let me see who else is here. Hold on. Sorry, I went to Perkins today and they had to get a slice of pie and a drink for $5 something.
Mm-hmm.
And I figure you're already paying out the wazoo for the drink anyway, right? Might as well get the pie. So I got a cherry Coke, but then for the pie, I asked, do you have cherry pie?
Mm-hmm.
And they did. And I had cherry pie. That's the first piece of cherry pie I've had in a long time since we were watching the Twin Peaks show.
Yeah.
Actually. For all the time I saw Agent Cooper chomping down on the cherry pie, it's the first time I actually had a piece. So, and guess
how
what?
Was it?
It's very good. Cherry pie.
Good.
I don't know if there's no such thing as bad cherry pie, but this was pretty good. And
Good
I'm sure it's not Double R Diner cherry pie, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, right.
Curtis Selby, welcome. And Big Al presents. Hello, my geezer friends. Hope you have a great show. Well, I mean, there's some.
It'll be a great show because it's us interacting with you. Now, the topics we'll be talking about aren't necessarily all the most fun, but
there's some fun stuff in there, or some potentially fun stuff. if they take it seriously and don't mess it up on a couple of the movies that we're doing tonight. Okay, what's up, my fellow old farts? I have eggnog and Christmas cookies. What y'all sneaking off? Hey, eggnog is some good stuff, man.
And you haven't had eggnog until you've made it from scratch. If you're getting it out of a carton, you are doing yourself an extreme disservice.
I get it from the carton.
Well, like I said, if you enjoy that, try making it from scratch, and you will. What's the Southern phrase? You'll slap your mama. It's so worth it.
Merry Christmas, George B. I mean, Geek. What the heck is going on? We're not even at Thanksgiving yet.
It's the holidays, period.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Veterans Day.
Hello, what is today? Happy Life Day.
Happy Life Day, everyone. And if y'all would like to join us tomorrow night on Troy's channel, I think I'll also be streaming on this one. We'll be doing a rewatch of the Star Wars Holiday Special, but in order for you to find a link to watch it, you have to watch it with us live.
With us.
That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Because it will be... I am still trying to get the Riff Tracks version working, but if I can't, it will be the Thank the Maker cut. And the only way you can see the Thank the Maker cut is if you watch it live with us. Or if I have sent you a DVD in the past of it, because I have done that on Life Day.
It's the movie George Lucas doesn't want you to see.
He said if I had enough time and a sledgehammer, I would smash every bootleg copy. Well, guess what?
Too
it's
late.
Out there on the internet now.
You'll never get rid of it now. Just polish a bit of homemade chocolate mousse. Oh, that's always good. And definitely stir a pinch of coffee liquor to balance out the intense sweetness. Okay, good to know. I remember in Rosemary's Baby, remember the neighbors gave him chocolate mousse. That's what the drug was in.
Yes.
To knock her out. I remember that. That's disturbing. That's a disturbing movie. I don't like that movie.
By the way, in answer to Nate's earlier question, I am snacking on reindeer bait trail mix. It's barely trail mix. They put a couple peanuts and some cashews in it to call it trail mix, but it's mostly a bag of candy.
There are worse things.
Yes. And I do see where it would attract reindeer. Absolutely.
Yeah, Christmas is easier to commercialize than Thanksgiving, so people keep wanting to celebrate earlier every year. What was that movie? Was it one of the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen where they gave the reindeer something to eat? Like, maybe, chocolate, I think. They gave it a bunch of chocolate and then it couldn't fly right or something.
Oh, my gosh. Well, actually... I would have no doubt that would cause them some, let's say, gastric discomfort that would make Santa very not much enjoy his flight.
Yeah, something to that effect happened, I think. Yeah, but welcome, Space Fraggle. Use markers mark with your eggnog.
Maker's Mark. Yes. I remember the movie. I can't remember if it was the original Arthur or if it was Arthur 2 on the Rocks, but I saw it in the theater with my buddy Otto in high school. And you know how they used to do scene cuts in the late 70s and the early 80s. They'd do a close up on something and it would take you a minute to figure out what you were seeing before they pulled back. And there was something going into a glass and I was like, oh, what is that? And as it pulls back, he goes, that's eggnog. The way it was meant to be drunk. And I said, oh, just like you, meant to be drunk.
Oh, funny. I get your phrasing there.
Although that was back before I started drinking. Now you could say that about me.
Funny.
Only on Fridays.
Welcome, Zootopia. The
Schadenfreude has been strong all over the world ever since Election Day. I still can't believe the legacy media and mainstream news have finally been exposed as the emperors with no clothes on. And yet they don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand. They're in denial still. Yeah.
We were just talking about that back in the green room. A lot of them are still even in the administration. I swear, I'm not going to get political and specific, but this current administration is doing everything it can to escalate things overseas to make sure we go into World War III before January. I just assured some friends of mine that I believe that the other side is intelligent enough to escalate only in the countries they're already attacking, and will wait until regime change because they know everything's about to change.
We'll have to wait and see. Scary times we're living in. I don't know. I feel like I get the sinking feeling we're not out of the woods yet, and I don't know why. But I guess.
Well, no, you got senators talking about starting a shadow government. It's like, and I responded to him like, well, why don't you start a shadow police too? Oh, wait, you've already got the FBI. Hey, maybe take a hint. We just had a red wave. Maybe you should learn that you work for us. You don't rule us.
So when we want to get away from,
and here I was saying I wasn't going to get political.
When we want to get away from, it's all right. It's when we want to get away from. It's a free country. You can have political opinions. It's allowed.
Let me translate. What he's really saying is, you're the one who's monetized. It doesn't affect me.
Anyway, moving right along. When we want to get away from the modern, we go think about the what?
The good old days. Tell me about the good old days. Interestingly, in talking about the good old days, we're going to talk about a retro-futuristic story.
Forbidden Planet. I would argue, well, maybe you could argue Metropolis was the first movie, but it almost seemed like every decade for a while, you had a movie come out that really was trying to project what the future was going to be like. And for the 1950s, that future, I believe, was Forbidden Planet. 1960s, I want to say that future was 2001: A Space Odyssey. Remember? And of course, the 80s was Blade
2001
Runner.
Was the 70s. 2001 was the 70s.
60s. 69, I believe.
Get out. Really?
I think so. Yeah. Double check me on that. But yeah. But here we go. Forbidden Planet.
You're right. 1968.
Yep.
See, this is what I was talking about the other day when I said, things come, I was talking about it on Friday. Things can come out in the late 60s, but you don't really experience them until you're old enough.
And then you think it's something new.
Like when I was talking about the Spider-Man from 69 and the 66 Avengers, that was I saw that in syndication in the 70s.
It's interesting. When you're a kid, you don't necessarily realize something is as old as it is. I remember being a child watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Come to find out much later in life that wasn't a recent movie. I think it came out 10 years prior to when I was watching it, as a little kid. But I just saw it as a movie, something recent because it's on the TV. But here we have Forbidden Planet. This is definitely 1950s vision.
1971, that was the year I was born, yeah. So I obviously didn't see it until some years later.
Yes. But great effects in 2001, too. But great effects in this movie as well. Typically you see these, these CG Panavision, if this RoboCop was made in the 50s, that sort of thing. And you're kind of wondering, why didn't they try doing bigger, grander scale movies in the 50s? But they did. They did the biblical epics. You had, of course, Hitchcock doing his big suspense thrillers like North by Northwest. But there was a big science fiction, high budget science fiction movie in the 50s, and that was Forbidden Planet. And here we go. You got Leslie Nielsen in this.
Yeah.
In a leading man dramatic role for once. And he's good.
Yep, absolutely.
And do we know the name of that robot there?
That, of course, is the iconic Robbie the Robot. You can find out a great deal more about that robot and what happened to him after this movie by checking out the YouTube channel Movies, Music, and Monsters. There's actually a number of videos that he's done about Robbie the Robot. Forbidden Planet, what happened to all the props, the costumes, and so forth. And the fact that there is a guy out there who does commission work. It's not cheap, but you can get a full-size replica, working replica of Robbie the Robot,
What?
the robot from Lost in Space,
That's
and
the
all
other Robbie the
kinds of
Robot.
other big props. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Robbie
you're
the
right. He
Robot
was on
also
both.
did appear on Lost in on at least one episode of Lost in Space.
Oh, the original one did. Yes, they met each
Yes.
other, which made me think these might be in the same universe, right? But
And absolutely, it did feel like it could have been. You know what else it could have also been in the same universe as?
what?
Star Trek. Because this story was very, very similar to many stories that we got in the original run of Star Trek.
If memory serves, did they have a transporter room?
They didn't. I don't think they had transporter technology.
Okay, I thought they did, but I could be wrong.
Because they landed the ship on the planet.
I know they landed, but here we go. We had that was Leslie Nielsen though as Commander John J. Adams. That's a great American name if I ever heard one before.
Right.
Walter Pidgeon as Dr. Edward Morbius. And I think of Morbius. I'm thinking might be
it's
something
Morbin time.
But this was a very great effects-laden movie. This, I think, is the first motion picture to feature an electronic score, if memory serves. Yes.
I'm pretty sure they used a theremin, didn't they?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. There we go. There's their ship. Instead of the flying saucer having aliens, we're the aliens in this. We're the ones traveling to the forbidden planet.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
This is an Earth-made spaceship. A cool spaceship though. And let's see. There's Robbie the Robot. He's now, I guess, he's the driver here in this little transport tube, and that opens up and he walks right out of it. Right.
Exactly.
This little transport shuttle. He's a jack of all trades. If you want him to, but he actually, he's not from the spaceship though. That's right. He was from he was the creation of Dr. Morbius, right?
Yes.
Yes. And he can do a lot of fancy things. He if this one guy, he wanted more Kentucky bourbon. So he was able to mass produce them like what is it? 100 canisters of it.
Well, and what's funny is, and I thought this at the time, it seems to me like, and I don't mean to be sacrilegious, but it does kind of come off as a nod or an homage to Jesus creating water, turning the water into wine at the wedding of Canaan.
Interesting. I can't help but think of Airplane and Naked whenever I think of Leslie Nielsen. That's true.
True.
But let's not forget though, he was a leading man when he was younger. And to be fair, you can do multiple things. Like William Shatner, I think, was a leading man on Star Trek at least. And of course, we found out later on he could do comedy very well too.
And we found out he could do spoken word verse really well too.
Was Forbidden Planet any inspiration?
He's a rocket man.
Yes. Was Forbidden Planet inspiration the original Star Wars saga of the 70s or 80s? I don't think so.
No.
I think really if it had any influence, it was more of an influence on Star Trek, if I'm going to call for anything. Because there's a lot of groundwork in here that I think Gene Roddenberry...
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the props weren't actually reused in Star Trek. I just dropped the link to Movies, Music, and Monsters, the video about this. And I would bet you dollars to baked beans he answers exactly that comment that I just made. But no, Star Wars was more based on George Lucas had wanted to do Flash Gordon, and he couldn't get the rights to it. So he just decided to make his own version of the old Sci-Fi serial. And that's how Star Wars came about. I'm sure that all of these things had at least some impact on him.
Right, I'm sure. Leslie Nielsen was original choice for Masala in Ben-Hur. Interesting. I like the actor they used, though. I forget what the name of the actor who played Masala in Ben-Hur was, but he was actually he was a rather scary villain. But he starts out not the villain when you first see him, right?
Right.
until he, in fact, it was an Irish actor who played him. So he didn't sound like the Romans, but he also didn't sound like the Hebrews, so it was
Exactly.
interesting.
And as a potential, spoiler for a nearly 60-year-old film, this movie is essentially a modern retelling of Shakespeare's The Tempest.
I need to watch a telling of Shakespeare's The Actual Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
I should do that one of these days. I do know it's about sailors, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. But look at that.
Sailors landing on an island and, dealing with a killer storm. And basically, you saw this movie, you kind of
know it was The Tempest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So here we go. We have Walter Pidgeon there as Dr. Morbius, who's a brilliant Earth scientist and I forgot the reason they're coming to this planet, but I guess they're coming
because he's the one that created warp drive. No. Sorry. I'm confusing it with Star Trek again.
Faster than light drive.
Honestly, doesn't this look like, if you look at the background and the interiors of his house, doesn't it look like the episode, what was it, Metamorphosis, with where they first introduced Cochrane in Star Trek?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know for sure if these are the same sets or whatever, but it's got that feel for sure.
Yeah. We have the lovely Anne Francis in this movie as the daughter of Dr. Morbius. Hold on. Her name is Alta.
Yep.
Altera. That's a
and
nice
I love the deer, because that it's a visual cue, right? You're supposed to think Greek mythology, you're supposed to think unicorns.
There you go. And there may be a love interest brewing here. Of course, she's the only woman in the film, so that helps, right? But I do like
it's almost like Pike and Lena, right?
Yes. Remember when he sees her bathing and he says, come swim, and he's like, I didn't bring my bathing suit, and she asks, what's a bathing suit?
I'll be right there.
Oh man. Hey, Darth Plato will be good, but I see nice looking actress, but they're investigating, and of course at night there's some weird stuff going on. But of course, it finds out that this planet was once inhabited by a advanced alien civilization, and Dr. Morbius has been investigating it.
And look at this. I don't remember the details, so definitely check out Movies, Music, and Monsters, because he talks about this. I can't remember if this was a miniature or if this was a matte painting, but you'll notice
across,
it's one of those composite shots where the camera is probably a story or two above them, filming down, probably on a soundstage, getting them walking along this strip of land, and all the rest of that is matted in. The Krell were the name of the alien race. That's right.
And I think Dr. Morbius was doing his intelligence testing in some machine, right? And basically he said, I have the intelligence of a small Krell child. That's how advanced they were. You understand?
Yeah, exactly.
And the doors you go into are very funny shape. I don't know if these were almost like crab-like creatures, because they were very wide, the doors that they would go through.
Right.
We never actually see the Krell, but we do see an invisible animal stalking them at night. They put up an electro shock barrier, I think, around the spaceship, and it starts getting shocked. You get to see the outline of this horrible beast that I think has killed a couple of the crew members. And of course, if you want to know where the effects for this beast came from, pretty nifty, huh? Animators on loan from the Walt Disney Studios.
Yes,
did all the animation.
They were literally done by hand.
So I find Forbidden Planet fascinating just from an effects standpoint. Of what would happen if the movie filmmaking technology of the 50s was trying to do something fantastic at the best of their abilities. And you see it in other movies too, but you definitely see it here. And this is the big science fiction movie of that decade. And it's a classic. I bought the special edition DVD when it came out in the fancy tin box. that came with a action figure of Robbie the Robot. So excited. Turns out it's like a figurine size.
Well, yeah.
I was hoping it was going to be more like a full-size Robbie the Robot, because you see those in catalogs from the Intergalactic Trading Company that I used to get.
I had a robot, the robot from Lost in Space.
That's
It
a good
was
one,
about,
too.
I want to say 6 or 9 inches tall, and it was battery operated, and it would like walk and stop and make some electronic noise and turn around and go in a different direction. I loved the hell out of that thing.
Yeah. I always thought that Forbidden Planet was Lost in Space in the future. Okay. But do you still have that Lost in Space Robbie the Robot figure?
I do not. No,
Things get lost.
No, I gave it to my brother, and I don't think it survived. But such is the case with a lot of my toys.
Sure, the toy was loved, at least, right?
It absolutely was. There is absolutely no doubt about that.
6-year-old.
For your mother to give us another bag of toys, saying, "Oh, these were your brothers," and that's going to be in it.
Yeah, something like that. You're right.
A 6-year-old movie that looks better than anything made now. Well, we'll find out about that later. We have a news story about this.
We do
That's why
have.
I brought it up.
Yeah, we will possibly be debating that. We will see.
But I do have this. It was a nice special edition DVD. It actually came with some neat bonus features back when Warner Brothers was putting out decent bonus features. Of course, now I'm terrified that this fancy set I got will no longer work, because it might have been part of that Warner Brothers batch of bad DVDs, but we'll see. That Michael French blessing. But the cool thing about the 10K stuff was I was able to mail in for a replica of the Forbidden Planet movie poster.
Oh, nice.
And when I got their King Kong tin, because I got the King Kong tin as well, I was able to mail in for the King Kong movie poster. So I got frames for both of them and put them up in my room, when I was a younger man, still in my 20s at that point. But and you had the King Kong poster, and King Kong was, of course, holding the young, attractive flapper lady from, I guess, the 30s or whatever when that came out. And of course,
right.
In this, you have the Robert the Robot holding Anne Francis.
Right, exactly.
So it was a similar poster. It's a little different though. But
right.
Yeah, looking forward to. Sorry, she's nice looking. Anyway,
there's no doubt about that.
But yeah, there it is, Forbidden Planet and classic. I don't want to say anything else. A monster inspired by Sigmund Freud. Let's leave it at that.
Yes,
I don't want to spoil anything. There's a big spoiler
right
in the movie, but it is a great classic science fiction movie. I love this video. Oh, love Dan Moreau. You love this video about Disney film The Black Hole. Interesting. We talked about that on the rose-colored glasses episode, didn't we?
Absolutely. Yeah. Dan Monroe is just, you know what? I gave you the link. Go ahead and check out that video, and then start checking out all of his other videos, and you will thank me later.
Well, that's it for Forbidden Planet. Watch it any way you can. They used to show it all the time on Turner Classic Movies. It is still available on Blu-ray. I suspect, though, we may be getting a remaster of it, probably in the next couple of years. More on that later, okay? But here we are. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. And now we have to get to the news of the night, but I have to queue up my notes first. Where did I dump those? There they are. So we can be all ready to go.
So that you can bring them up. I've got the first link up for you.
And we got later on, we're going to have some Indiana Jones news that people may find delicious. But
I didn't get a chance to read the article, and I was like,
well, I'll read it to you.
What the heck is this?
They're all short tonight, so I can actually just read most of the articles.
Yeah, okay.
Castlevania tribute starring classic Dracula actor launches today on Switch. No picture of the article, so I just have Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
My uncle knew someone growing up, and I think the guy was from Hungary, and he says, "Oh, Bela Lugosi, great Hungarian actor," like he was a big fan of Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Castlevania, and more specifically Dracula, then you might want to check out Carpathian Night, starring Bela Lugosi, available today on the Switch eShop. If the title and accompanying key art didn't already give it away, this homage
Yep.
as Liam Neeson always says, to Castlevania revives the classic interpretation of Dracula from 1931 by actor Bela Ferenc Desco Blasco, otherwise known professionally as Bela Lugosi. Developer Tetskatek worked closely with Lugosi's granddaughter, Leanne Lugosi Sparks, and Lugosi Enterprises to include the legendary actor in the game. As for Carpathian Night itself, Tetskatek is said to be made up almost entirely of Castlevania fans, so it's likely that the game will be bursting at the seams with tributes and references to Konami's dormant franchise. Visually, it seems to be more or less in line with the Game Boy Advance entries like Harmony of Dissonance and Area of Sorrow, with gameplay that pulls from both the classic era and Igavania era. Here's a peek at the official description from Tezkatek. Carpathian Night is a tribute to retro horror side-scrollers and the classic monster films that inspire them. Battle your way through legions of iconic monsters, avoid deadly traps, uncover the secret history of your monstrous foes, and face the legendary Lord of the Vampires within his own ancestral home. Answer the call, mighty hunter, and drive the wickedness back to whence it came. In partnership with Lugosi Enterprises, Teskatek is honored to bring Bela Lugosi into the video game realm for the first time in an officially licensed release in a style of game that has long been associated with the horror classics. Carpathian Night, starring Bela Lugosi, is now available on the Switch eShop for $16.99. There you go. And who knows, there may be a physical release down the line, too. I'm sure it's available on other consoles and PC as well, but I don't know. It looked neat. But what do you think? Bela Lugosi in a video game, huh?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, let's face
You're
it.
gonna have Dracula in it regardless, so you might as well put Lugosi's mug on it.
I was going to say, especially with a lot of these older games, if you were playing the game, just think about, for example, Atari's like Indiana Jones game. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't tell the difference between him and Pitfall Harry and Mario, right? Because of how low resolution these pixels were.
Yes.
But you always imagined him as, Harrison Ford with the fedora hat.
Sure, you let your imagination do the work.
So I think there's a lot of people that in their mind, this is Dracula. So they played some of those Dracula games back in the day and said, it's just Bela Lugosi,
So, hey, the game looks interesting. I might pick it up. So it looks like an old school Castlevania game. So, yeah. So I'll pick it up until Konami decides to make a new one. And yet this homeland is still treating him as a hero. But yes, scary. Yeah, well, like I said, we've talked at length about the Universal Studios Dracula Untold movie.
Yep.
And how they came so close.
Yeah, there was a lot of things to like about it. I was very excited for it, very disappointed when it was finally executed.
Why did they cut out the Baba Yaga scene?
I don't know.
That was amazing. I saw that in a cut clip, and I'm like, that was incredible.
I'll tell you why, and it was like a double whammy because they had to get the what do you call it, the Marvel Universe-esque tag for the next movie.
Oh, get rid of the tag.
You got to stop doing that crap. You got to stop doing that crap because you're assuming this movie is going to do well enough to earn you that sequel, and it didn't.
I liked how Baba Yaga looked like both the crone and the attractive witch at the same time. Like some scenes she looked normal, and then in other scenes she looked like the old crone. I thought that was interesting, but they had no, because I thought they could have had her in another movie, maybe, right?
Yes,
well.
exactly.
And I like the fact that she says, "You've killed children," he says, and so will you, she said. Remember that?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, but let's move on to our next article. Okay, here we go. Xbox continues to push beyond consoles with a new ad campaign. Are you excited?
Are they putting out litter boxes and
Okay.
cat
You
box.
know what? I think this new direction is something else. All right. Microsoft has been trying to expand Xbox to multiple devices for more than 5 years now. Now it's launching a marketing campaign to make it very clear that it thinks every screen is an Xbox now. A new This Is Xbox campaign is launching today to position the Xbox as a way to play games across multiple devices instead of just an Xbox console. This is an Xbox invites people to play with Xbox across multiple devices and screens, explains Craig McNary, Senior Director of Xbox Marketing. It showcases the evolution of Xbox as a platform that extends across devices with bold, iconic, fun visuals and a lighthearted tone. Microsoft's new Xbox marketing campaign has created a series of ads that will appear online, on digital billboards, and even on the sides of buses that are designed to make it clear that laptops, TVs, handheld gaming PCs, and even VR headsets can now be considered an Xbox. In the latest step in Microsoft's ongoing gaming strategy to reach players beyond the Xbox console, something that started with the introduction of Xbox cloud gaming more than 6 years ago. You can play through the cloud, dude. You don't even need a console. You get your Amazon Fire Stick, slap
I
a
mean,
little
they make
Xbox
edibles
label
to
on
play
it.
through the cloud too, so I don't know why
They make
that's
what?
so they make edibles that allow you to play through the cloud. So
In recent months, Microsoft has been referring to this internally as Xbox Everywhere, as it increasingly looks to bring more Xbox games to PlayStation, Switch, and other platforms and devices. Microsoft has been using no console required messaging for its Xbox TV app for Samsung TVs and Amazon Fire's TV sticks earlier this year. You got a Samsung Smart TV, boom, it's now an Xbox. Everyone exciting? Why are the Xbox ads reminding me of the Got Milk campaign in the in the 90s? Yeah, maybe I remember those. Here we go. The Xbox campaign is extremely lame. Hush now. Look at this. This is an Xbox, which is an actual Xbox. Remember these consoles you would buy and hook up to your TV? That we wish maybe the company that owned it would pay attention to and put out games on instead of all this bullshit. I'm sorry, excuse my language. Demonetized. Anyway, sorry. This is Xbox for your lap. That's a PC. This is an Xbox that tags along. I don't even know what that is. Is that a Steam box? Because I don't think Xbox will be on Steam box. This is a cat box. Oh, see the kitty?
Yeah, that's probably a little bit, and a little bit later, this is a bento box. Do you understand that you are not helping your campaign with things like this?
Oh, man. Okay. You weren't probably around when the Xbox originally launched back in 2001. The Xbox was known kind of as the...
I was around. I just wasn't interested.
You weren't... Yeah, I know. Okay. Around for this part of the gaming thing because you were on PC probably. Right. The Xbox was known as... It was the most powerful console on the market at the time, and it was kind of known as like the frat boy console, like the dude bro console. You know, it was
the Chad of consoles.
It had like the Dead or Alive games with the sexy ladies playing volleyball. You know, it was that console. Or it had a Halo, the big first-person shooter, like a lot of our soldiers over in Iraq and Afghanistan when they weren't on the battlefield, they were playing Halo on the Xbox. This was a thing over there, and you know, I think it basically touted it's a very masculine young man console. Like readers of Maxim magazine. And I don't know what's happened to Xbox, but to quote the Joker, did your balls drop off? I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm a girl and I'm not impressed with this ad. Just give me a bento box and fast internet instead of an Xbox. This is just
actually
sad.
Not wrong. I'm looking at all of this and going, yeah, give me like 2 of those bento boxes and keep all the rest.
I don't know what's happening. Microsoft, man, the Xbox used to scream it. It was called Xbox because remember X was on everything in the early 2000s. Extreme, you got the Triple X movie with Vin Diesel. You know what I'm saying?
I never saw a Triple X movie with Vin Diesel. I have seen Triple X movies, not one with Vin Diesel.
Okay, it was the new 007. It was like the 007 for Gen X.
There you go.
No suit and tie. It's all about extreme, sports and video games and stuff like that, and heavy metal. That's what that's what the kids were into. It's just never mind. It's just okay. No one cares. Does anybody care about this story? Want me to elaborate further? I think Xbox
I would
has
argue
lost.
there's another marketing problem here, and
Yes.
I look at this and I go, so you want me to buy an Xbox and a laptop console and this handheld thing and this thing that goes on the wall, and you want me to buy a thing to go on my eyes, all of it sounds like a bunch of stuff I have to buy. I don't think I want that.
Well, I didn't even read it that way. I took it as, well, heck, if you can play Xbox on your laptop, why do I need to buy an actual Xbox? Maybe it's because maybe they're doing it, they're touting it being on PC is because a lot of people were pissed off at the Xbox One and fleeing to PC gaming because of it. I knew a lot of hardcore Xbox fans.
Well, you make a point there too,
and they're just running off to PCs now. Over here, PlayStation and PC, Xbox is more of a fringe thing here. Yeah, Xbox, it never broke into Asia. It kept failing in Japan. They tried with Japan too, and just no, the Japanese were not buying it. A VHS is not a DVD, is not a blender, not a jacuzzi. It can be if you want it to be. If you can dream, Rosefire. That's what
you try throwing your Xbox into the jacuzzi, see what happens. I like what Nate says. I'm like Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive. I don't care.
They've lost the console war. It's like they're pretending to think Xbox hasn't lost the console war. Xbox is just everywhere. We're not just on Xbox. We're everywhere. We may be on your PlayStation someday, so there, we've won. None of this makes any sense to me.
Again, that's another mixed message, right? I look at this and go, well, what do I need your Xbox for then?
I don't get it.
Really?
I do not own an Xbox Series X, mainly because I didn't like their whole storage solutions. That's another thing with new consoles. They're not good with the storage solutions. I want all my games to be on the console. I don't want to have to delete games from the console because I either downloaded them digitally or my physical game I bought still had to download the majority of the game digitally because it's no more than a glorified key. All right, moving on. Well, it can't be a cat box, Rosefire. Read the ad, please. Okay.
This is a cat box.
Yeah. We're going to talk about this for the next 90 minutes. Okay, let's move on. Square Enix is not doing so hot.
Shocked. Well, maybe not that shocked.
Square Enix stock plummeted over 10 points on Monday, November 11th. The company hence lost the equivalent of hundreds of millions of dollars in market capitalization. That sounds like a lot. With this turn of events likely being prompted by Square Enix reporting some mixed financial results. Square Enix operating profit has been on a steady decline since its 2022 peak. The Japanese gaming giant's latest financial report suggests that this trend might have finally reversed, with the company reporting that it generated $136 million in profit over the 6-month period ending September 2024, a 22% year-on-year increase. Square Enix reveals plans to aggressively pursue multi-platform strategy. They announced a multi-platform pivot, suggesting PlayStation could be losing the source of some of its biggest third-party console exclusives. Square Enix's stock still declined by over 10% at the closing trading on the Tokyo Stock Exchange on Monday, November 11th. Some Japan-based industry watchers speculate that this company can be attributed to a number of troubling figures contained in the company's latest financials, e.g., although the operating profit for the reported 6-month period has increased year-on-year, it has most recently been on a heavy decline, falling 27% in Q3 2024. Combine that with the fact that Square Enix premium game sales are now down year-on-year, this decline might be what prompted the investor to sell off that caused the company's stock to plummet. So that's what happens when investors lose confidence. They sell their stock, and that decreases the value of the stock. Is that right?
Yes, and it's also a good indicator to the market of the health of the company. Although we are not giving any specific stock advice, I'm just talking about general trends. Want to really quickly welcome John Doe Juggalo, another lover of physical media. Welcome.
Well, Square is just released their Dragon Quest III remake. And this went from like a must buy for me to a no buy after I heard of basically them hacking it to bits with all the censorship and removing the gendered names and everything. I'm just done. I'm not doing this. you're an RPG. These things matter, and I want to play it as it was originally artistically intended back in the 80s when it came out. And I understood you were doing an HD remaster, but
this is what I
I'm
think.
done. I'm not buying it. It's $60. I'm not
People-
spending my money on that. Go ahead.
People in these companies do not understand. If you're bothering to remake something, you are trying to cater to nostalgia.
The people
You
who
don't
liked it
cater
originally.
to nostalgia by making it something that it never was, because there's no nostalgia there. All you do is piss off the audience that you're going after. And you're not going to get a new audience because the new audience has no nostalgia for your old thing.
Basically, yeah. The Japanese group's latest earnings report did not include sales update on Final Fantasy 16, which the company itself previously said underperformed. The JRPG also had a somewhat quiet PC launch after finally reaching Steam back in September. So it took them forever to release this game on Steam because it was a PS5 exclusive. Moving forward, Square Enix intends to try reinvigorating its declining game sales by moving away from exclusivity deals in favor of multi-platform publishing. The company said it much back. Also, maybe stop using Sweet Baby Inc. as consultants on some of your new properties that you were doing, which they did.
You think?
But yeah, the Dragon Quest said
last week.
no. Well, no, the artist is dead, but the creator of the game is still alive, and he was pissed. He said so. Yeah, but I see you're talking about the guy who did the artwork for it. The Dragon Ball Z artist, and those were some iconic designs he made, and they had to update them for modern audiences because I guess the female warrior was showing too much skin, even though the male warrior still shows the equivalent amount of skin on his rings. Makes me wonder if Disney will be able to pivot and gain mainstream customers back, or will they temporarily make profits before crashing again? Disney, I can't quite figure them out still. They have the Snow White.
They can't figure themselves out.
Yeah, the Lion King prequel coming out. That's their big holiday movie. So that'll be the big test. But yeah, Square Enix isn't doing so well, and I don't care because, like I said, I really wanted to get the Dragon Quest game. And they didn't just censor it for the American audience or the European audience. It's censored in Japan, too. It's everywhere. These changes are now universal. Used to be they would just cut up the stuff and Japan would still get the uncensored game. Now it's just everywhere because I guess we're a nice. Now they just censor from the get-go in the home country. MasterCard is also trying to get censor stuff at the source, removing access to the payment platform until they do. That's insidious.
Yep.
I think I use the other evil credit card company anyway. But if they can't figure themselves out, I'd say they're still screwed. I don't know. They've had some hits this year, I'll say that, but we'll see how the holidays treat them. Forbidden Planet.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, let me bring that up for you. Sorry.
That's the gaming news for the night. The Carpathian Night looks good because it's made by a small indie studio, which is probably better than any of the big stuff coming out, right? So there we go. Support the fans. Revisionist version of Touchstone's 1956 sci-fi film Forbidden Planet, set by Warner Brothers. What? You a little excited about this? Let's read. Okay, Warner Brothers has made a deal to mount a new version of the 1956 science fiction classic Forbidden Planet. The film will be written by comic book and screenwriter Brian K. Vaughan, and it will be produced by Emma Watts. For its forward-thinking themes, the film is considered a North Star for science fiction writing and cinema that came after it. It has never had a big screen remake, though James Cameron reportedly once considered it, partly because the rights were complicated and difficult to untangle. The studio and Watts finally got that major obstacle out of the way. The former studio chief's Watts has leaned into producing the big, ambitious tentpole she shepherded for the executive suites, and this has the makings to be one of those. Loosely based on Shakespeare's The Tempest, Forbidden Planet is set in the 23rd century, where the starship C-57D arrives at the distant planet Altair 4 to solve the mystery of what happened to another starship sent 20 years prior. One of the original ship's scientists, Dr. Edward Morbius, played by Walter Pidgeon, warns them not to land for safety reasons, but C-57D does so anyway. The rescue attempts are hampered by a creature. Well, now we're going to hear, don't spoil the plot. Okay, Vaughn is a Hugo and Eisner award-winning comic book writer and screenwriter whose comic book creations include Y the Last Man, Ex Machina, Runaways, Pride of Baghdad, Saga, and Paper Girls. He also wrote such comics as Spider-Man, X-Men, Captain America, and his latest TV work includes serving as writer, story editor, and producer of 3 seasons of Lost. After being tapped by Damon Lindelof, Vaughn was then handpicked by Steven Spielberg to adapt Stephen
I'm
King's
hearing a lot of references and a lot of names that don't fill me with a great deal of confidence.
It depends on which seasons of Lost he worked on. Lost was great for a while.
Lindelof. That's all I needed
All right.
to hear.
Anyway, Watts ran the film division at Fox and Paramount, and her work on Sci-Fi field includes iRobot, Alita Battle Angel. You like that one?
I did like that one, yes.
The Martian. That was all right. Maze Runner and Avatar. This became
actually the Martian was great. The only negative thing you can say about it is a scientific mistake that you can't call a mistake because it wasn't at the time that it was written. You find out something later after the movie's already made. It's not their fault, you know.
I'm not as negative as you are about it, but I know the knee-jerk reaction is saying remake, they're going to screw it up. And they're going to make a bad movie just using the title.
It kind of makes you wonder why. Why bother? Now, there is one answer I would accept to that. And if they said, we have a series of 3 movies we want to do, then yeah, I guess you kind of need to redo the first one in order for the look of your movie and your actors and stuff to kind of match up, right?
Yeah.
So that I might buy. But if all they're doing is remaking a movie, why bother? Just go watch the old movie. It's a classic. It's
well, I could see there being, if they get a great director to do it, I'm thinking maybe you could have a Christopher Nolan or a Denis Villeneuve maybe do this. I don't know if either will jump on because apparently they were angry at Warner Brothers over the whole day and date nonsense.
Jeff Green is making a great point about the day the Earth stood still, and I could think of a whole lot of other remakes that
they remade
were very ill-conceived and very ill-advised. Now, we did do a Friday night show talking about some remakes that were actually really good, but we prefaced that by saying, let's be honest, these were the exceptions. The rule usually is don't do a remake of something that's already, if not perfect, so good you're not going to be able to match it.
So good, you might not be able to match it. That's okay. So what do you mean by that, though? Do you think that they could do a movie that good that it would even eclipse the original, or at least be a companion to the original?
I doubt it. But if they do come close, and they are planning to do sequels, then I'd say, okay, I can see why they did it. Let's go. Let's keep going, you know. I'm not completely against it. I'm just saying, think through what you're doing before you start dropping this kind of money on these kinds of movies.
They want to do it. Maybe there's a prestige thing involved. Maybe they want to get a top-tier director. Maybe they want to see what is our current futurism looking like? How we would see things in the future versus how they saw it in the 50s, and can we adapt?
If they completely see, there's a great. So there's 2 ways this could go, right? They could go for the retrofuturism.
Then what's the point? Just watch the original, though. I wouldn't do the retrofuturism.
Right. Or they could go with, what do we think the future would look like from our
space travel
2024? The Bezos, Musk, kind of future that we're looking.
We're getting close with the robots. At least the Robbie the Robot style robot. I think we're getting there.
That would be, you do something that's got that style of those the robots that Musk has been doing and whatnot, and you're like, okay, I see where they're going with the robots, right? Although by the time we actually get into space like that, to other planets, it'll be like, oh, wait a minute, we've gotten way past that now.
Yeah, I suppose so. That's always a thing. There's a bunch of B movies out there that had good ideas before they executed. They could remake. They don't need to remake the classic.
That is a great point. There have been some of the best remakes were ones where you watch the original and you're like, well, I see a good story here, but this was terribly executed. You know?
I had heard a rumor a while back that Tim Burton actually wanted to redo Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I would love to see that. Because let's face it, if Tim
it
Burton does it, no. It wouldn't necessarily have to be better or worse. It would be such a different style. I mean, that's like the difference between a country song and a rock song. They could be the same song, but they're so different.
Right.
They're completely different songs, right? And anything Tim Burton does is going to be. You don't say that's sci-fi, that's horror, that's comedy. It's Tim Burton is what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
I would say they could remake it, The Thing from Another World, but they did. It was called Alien. But anyway, I'm sorry. You ever see It, The Thing from Another World?
Yes, I did.
It has a very similar feel to Alien, except it was prior to Alien being made. It was made in the 50s. I'd like to see a revision of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, perhaps as a miniseries instead of film to give it. Know how these 19th century characters, they could do it as an HBO series.
We have been saying that about so many different things where, again, this was one of the defenses that I made for the Denis Villeneuve Dune, where he splits it into two parts. It's like, you can't get it all in one movie. They tried to make David Lynch do that and it didn't work. So split it up, you think of Peter Jackson with The Lord of the Rings, where he puts together a long version of the movie to release in cinema, but then he's got this extended DVD version, that kind of gets the whole story. And now you hear about them wanting to do Harry Potter as a series. So instead of getting one book crammed down into a movie, you get one book a season.
Yeah, that would work.
I'm like, I can see that. And there's a lot of things I think that would benefit from that. And especially these comic book adaptations, absolutely. Another one that, even though I don't care much for most of his other work, Zack Snyder's Watchmen.
Right.
That one I would have argued needed to be a miniseries, except what he did was he identified the different parts of it and took all of that out and gave you just the story. And then
there's
the
like
other
a
parts
cut,
of it
though,
were
right?
done. Pardon me?
There's like a supercut that adds it all back in, though, isn't there?
It's not so much a supercut, so much as if you get the deluxe DVD, it's got the pirate comic,
the
Black Freighter as a motion comic on a separate DVD,
right?
And it's got another DVD that's got the all the stuff that was in the news articles and stuff, the backstory. So in a way it does, but it's more like DVD extras than it is restoring it directly to the film. So yeah, I could totally see that. And now the more I'm thinking about Forbidden Planet, I'm thinking about this idea of sequels for it, and I'm like, I'll bet you there's other like Greek myths and Shakespearean plays that could be adapted to this modern sci-fi setting.
Yeah.
Just keep it going. I could see that.
Now, Troy's mentioned this for you. When it comes to anime future technology, there are good examples like Gundam, Macross, Armor Troopers, Vodoms, and the list goes on. If you're into anime, turn into Netter's Network this Thursday. Well, I will be a guest host and we will have a special guest, Brandon the Anime Guy. We may bring this up. I actually have Armor Trooper Vodoms on a Blu-ray. I got it on a sale like in the last year.
And did you guys all catch what he just did? This guy is a better marketer than most of the people working in Hollywood these days.
Anyway.
Just saying.
But moving on, though. Tom Hardy's Splinter Cell movie is officially dead. Do you know what Splinter Cell is, or do I have to explain that to you? It's a video game series.
I know, basically.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. It takes place in the Tom Clancy universe.
It's one of those crack team go in and
Well, not
shoot
really a crack
people.
team. He's all alone. It's a stealth game where you as Sam Fisher are
Yeah.
the one man army. But it
So what
it's
you're saying is this Tom Hardy project is as dead as little Tom Hardy in a Gray Still Plays playthrough. See, Netter gets what I'm saying. Any of you that want
I catch
Gray
that.
Still
No.
Plays, you get that reference.
He played as the voice of Sam Fisher in the games, right?
No.
Michael Ironside.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really good as Sam Fisher. So like, and he would explain. They did interviews on one of the. I think on one of the games they had like an interview with Michael Ironside. And he was saying, "Oh, I use different tones depending on how the character's interrogating the guy in the game. Like
Yeah.
And he explains how he changes his voice and makes it very aggressive and stuff. And it was neat. He was Some argued at the time these games came out, you probably could have had Michael Ironside play him for real in a movie because Sam Fisher's supposed to be an older character. He has like a teenage daughter. He was at least in his 40s, maybe early 50s at this point. He was like an old timer, but he was an expert at doing these special missions, and it took place in the Tom Clancy.
Wasn't Michael Ironside Lois's father in
Smallville? Yes,
yeah.
the general. Yes.
Was it Sam Lane or something like that?
I don't know how Tom Hardy would have done. Yeah, I forget her dad, the general. I remember that.
Right.
It was interesting when the Kent said, "Oh, you want to come over for dinner?" "Oh, I can't," or whatever. I got to get back to base. I'm like, yeah, they should have had Michael Ironside over at the Kent house for dinner. That would have been
right.
And it's funny because Michael Ironside on Superman the Animated Series was the voice of Darkseid.
Oh yeah.
Talk about terrifying. They got the best actors to play the villains on those cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
You had Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor. You had Powers Booth was the voice of Gorilla Grodd.
Right.
I mean, it's just Troy, I remember hearing rumors that this was going to be a live action movie. These rumors started when the Splinter Cell game came out. I think it was on Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. They did, I can't talk about the Splinter Cell movie. And it's like, we know the Splinter Cell movie is going to happen, and it never did. Here's the news story. Splinter Cell is an iconic game franchise set, one that fans have been hoping to see unfold in live action on the big screen, though sadly doesn't seem to be happening anymore. The story follows a Black Ops super spy named Sam Fisher working for the fictional agency Third Echelon under the NSA. The first entry landed in 2002 as an Xbox exclusive title and has gone on to create 7 different games. The film adaptation was officially reported to be in development by Deadline in 2012, with it being revealed later that year that Tom Hardy was in talks to star as Sam Fisher himself. In 2014, Edge of Tomorrow director Doug Liman was announced to be as the director of the film. Yeah, that would have been good. Which was produced by Ubisoft New Release as an edgy PG-13 action flick. I could see it along the lines of like a Jason Bourne movie, maybe. There had been multiple updates throughout the 2010s regarding filming timetables, but every single one of those had missed its marks. For years, there's been no further word on the status of the long gestating Splinter Cell movie. While promoting the 10th anniversary of John Wick, producer Basil Iwanuk, who signed on produced Splinter Cell film in 2013, confirmed that the previously announced live-action theatrical adaptation is now dead. According to Wanik, the Tom Hardy-led movie is not happening anymore as they couldn't get it right. That film would have been awesome, just couldn't get it right script-wise, budget-wise, but it was going to be great. We had a million different versions of it, but it was going to be hardcore and awesome. That was one of the ones that got away, which is really sad. So no Splinter Cell movie anymore.
And you guys are talking about, taking these video games, turning them into movies. Some of these games, they look like movies as you're actually playing them.
This would have been a perfect one to adapt.
I know.
It had a recognizable character.
I'm sharing a bit of a playthrough. This is the finale. There's previous episodes if you want to check it out. This is John Solo, which John Solo is a channel I love, but he doesn't normally do video game playthroughs. He just did this one because he is a lore channel and he talks about mythology and legends and lore. And he did during Halloween, he was talking about the Wendigo.
Yep.
And he said yeah, a lot of people were saying that this game is, about Wendigos. It does, I could talk about how it does and doesn't match up. And let me tell you, those playthroughs were so much fun. I'd encourage you to check out his channel. I like the kid. He's local, and I really like his channel. So,
I remember, I forgot, who was it here in our little community that was doing a replay of Until Dawn? I forgot who it was, but Until Dawn, was it you, Jesse Green? I don't know.
I don't know. If not him, it might have been
Maybe it wasn't Jesse Green.
Who is that? You know what? Let me check because
I don't remember who it was.
There's somebody who just went live today that I've been following who does.
But what was neat about Until Dawn was Hayden Panettiere gets out of the bathtub and she has a towel on, and I wrote in the comments, "Be a shame if that towel fell off." Because it was Hayden Panettiere.
GamePro is another one that does a lot of watch throughs who may or may not have done that, but yeah.
But
and that's the other thing too. If you watch the game, if you play the game or watch someone playing through the game, the characters on screen, if you look up their voice actors, it's very clear the voice actors were the models for these characters
as
well.
I think is the right way to go. I thought that was a way around this whole how they're making a lot of characters ugly. Just model them off the real actor, and then no one can come yelling at you. But then I realized, no, the people making the games they're the ideologues that are in favor of this, but not with Until Dawn. Until Dawn, they were actually doing it with the actors. Until Dawn is basically an interactive movie. Yeah, I mean, I have it on the PlayStation.
A lot of the best games absolutely are.
I have that other one, the one about the werewolf. I have that one too. I forget what that one's called. So all a movie would do is take interactivity out. Yeah, well, maybe they do what they did with the one Final Destination movie on DVD. Remember that?
No.
Did you ever there was a Final Destination movie where you got to select if people lived or died on your DVD.
Oh, really? I'll have to check
and you
it
could
out.
either have them survive or kill them off. So it actually played out differently than the theatrical version. It was this neat little the quarry, that's what it was called, right?
And going back to welcome, by the way, Matanui, to what Matanui was saying, you get the quality isn't always there, right? You need somebody who's who has a graphic eye, right? Like I would say this would be the kind of thing where Zack Snyder would shine. Bring in Zack Snyder, show him a complete playthrough of the thing and say, make this into a movie. Just make it a movie the way he did with Watchmen. And I think it could be really, really good.
Maybe.
And in fact, actually, I hate to say this because, again, I'm not a big Zack Snyder fan, but the more I think about it, the more I think he'd be perfect for this, because if he did his, what do you call that bullet time thing that he likes to do where everything slows down and moves in slow motion, that would be such an homage to the action segments in the game, because the game does that to give you the time to react,
right,
and shoot the thing or do the quick time thing or whatever it is.
I thought that was in reference, like if you're in a high stress situation, time slows down. I've heard that happen too.
Yes, exactly. Okay. But I think that's kind of explaining away a mechanic they need for gameplay, specifically because there's a difference between someone who is trained. For example, if you're talking like this game where it's a weapon fire or something, you're trained, you do it automatically, and you have this muscle memory, and trying to figure out the controls to do the same thing, which take a lot longer,
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Quick time events is what we used to call
it. One thing to pull up a gun, pull the trigger, right? It's another thing to go left, right, up, down, right, fire, or whatever you got to do.
Well, yeah. Quick time events. By the way, the name of the YouTuber, I believe, was Green Lion Girl. Now I remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yes, that was what I was thinking. That's why I was confusing Jesse Green with that. Zack Snyder would just make a 4-hour movie, not because of the story, but because of the overuse of slow motion. Hey,
Yeah.
Wolfman.
Oh yeah, let me I'm sorry, let me
Are
get
you
my
excited? We'll read the article.
I'm not sure. Let's read the
Okay.
article and I'll tell you why I'm reticent.
Okay, let's read the article.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the new trailer for the Wolfman. This is new trailer for Wolfman goes heavy on the savage body horror. Director Lee Whannell of The Invisible Man returns to the world of Universal Monsters in next year's Wolfman, and Universal Pictures UK released a new trailer today. This new trailer for Wolfman is loaded with brand new footage not previously seen in the movie's US trailers, so we figured you'd like to check it out. Give it a watch down below. From Universal and Blumhouse, Wolfman howls into theaters January 17th, 2025. Golden Globe nominee Christopher Abbott, Poor Things, stars as Blake, a San Francisco husband and father who inherits his remote childhood home in rural Oregon after his own father vanishes and is presumed dead. With his marriage to his high-powered wife, Charlotte, Julia Garner of Indiana, fraying, Blake persuades Charlotte to take a break from the city and visit the property with their young daughter, Ginger, played by Matilda Firth. Let me see. But as the family approaches the farmhouse in the dead of night, they're attacked by an unseen animal and in a desperate escape barricade themselves inside the home as the creature prowls the perimeter. As the night stretches on, however, Blake begins to behave strangely, transforming into something unrecognizable, and Charlotte will be forced to decide whether the terror within their house is more lethal than the danger without. The upcoming horror film co-stars Sam Yeager of The Handmaid's Tale, Ben Prendergast, The Sojourn audio drama, and Benedict Hardy of The Invisible Man. Screenplay is written by Lee Whannell and Corbett Truck, Lauren Schuker Bloom, and Rebecca Angelo. The film is produced by Blumhouse founder and CEO Jason Blum and Ryan Gosling of The Fall Guy and Lost River, and executive produced by Lee Whannell, Beatrice. Okay, I'm not going to read all these names. Wolfman remake. What do we think?
Okay, I want to first, if you let me take over controls, because I want to bring up some comments here. First, Jesse Green says it looks good, but it shows too much in the trailer. Yes, I agree, but let's be honest. There's two types of trailers we get these days. They either give away too much, or they give you so little you don't even know what the frack the movie's about. Right? They can't. The art of. I was kind of alluding to it before when I was talking about marketing. The art of subtlety, just to give you enough to entice you, that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, let's face it, we live in the world of OF, right? So the idea of enticing and not giving away too much just doesn't exist anymore. The other one is Matanui saying another Wolfman remake. Again, another problem I have. Exactly right. I feel like this is Universal doing the same thing that Sony has been doing for years with Spider-Man. We'll remake it over and over and over and over again so that we can keep the rights, we can keep, the marketing dollars and so forth. Excuse me. Hiccup there. Honestly, my personal feeling is that you had probably the best Universal Wolfman remake in 2010 with the Benicio del Toro.
Correct.
Why? Because this was exactly what we were talking about with remakes, where if you're going to do it, you've got to update it and make it as good or better. And I felt there was so many things in it that were as good or better, right?
It was as close to what we thought a Universal remake should look like, because he looked the part. He had a similar look to Lon Chaney Jr. I give him points on the.
That is the other thing.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing that I don't know if it's good or bad. If I was Universal, I would consider this to be a bad thing. Who is the Wolfman? The Wolfman is Lawrence Talbot, right? That's who Lon Chaney Jr. played. That's who Benicio del Toro played. There was a very specific story there. In general, it's an American who returns to the homeland because his father has died or is dying, and he needs to oversee the estate. And while he's there, he gets bit by a werewolf, and tragedy ensues. And he is cursed with this lycanthropy and all the lore that goes with it. Could you do that in a modern dress? Could you do that with someone who's already married and has a kid? Sure. But it doesn't look like they're doing that at all. This is a different character, different setting, completely different concept. The only thing that makes it the same is they're using the title, and it involves a werewolf. And the problem with that is that Universal has a brand ID they need to do something with. They have a whole section of their park about it.
This probably won't blend with that, will it?
No, it absolutely will not. So again, a big marketing blunder here. Blunderhouse is what I'm gonna call this. And all it ends up doing is taking their what would be their IP and turning it into a generic werewolf story.
Instead of making it the iconic Wolfman. I mean,
I am not saying it won't be good. It could be very good, but I think it's a big misstep for them.
I'm wondering if maybe they're going to use the same look with, it being more man-like, like the Lon Chaney costume, rather than the straight-up werewolf that we've seen.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't quite... It looks like, they're doing it as a straight-up horror movie, and I guess it doesn't make sense for them to do another one in the 1800s or the early 1900s, because they're going to go for modern day. Maybe this takes place in the same world as the classic Wolfman movie.
Well, so they did a bang up job when they decided to do a modern day mummy movie with Tom Cruise. So, why don't you do the same kind of thing again?
Absolutely terrible. I was on board with it too before. I was the sucker when I didn't go see it though when I saw the reviews come out, but I was like, Tom Cruise, he's very careful with the projects he picks. I think he's taking this seriously. I get it. They're wanting to set it in modern day, but we're all over the Mideast, conflict, so that makes sense that someone might uncover. It's going to be a different mummy than what we had. It's not going to be Imhotep again. I kept thinking with the female mummy, they were going to base it off Jewel of the Seven Stars, the Bram Stoker mummy story. But
sure.
That's not what they did. But anyway.
Well, here's the other thing. Director of The Invisible Man. Did you see The Invisible Man?
I heard things that maybe not want to see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It sounds like they're going to make a lot of the same missteps with this that they did with that.
It's going to be like Abusive Husband or something.
I heard The Invisible Man was a good Invisible Man movie, but it wasn't The Invisible Man.
Invisible Man. It was its own thing. It sounds like Universal keeps throwing things at the board, hoping something's going to take off that they can make a movie out of instead of just.
And let me just say that
the two Dracula movies that came out last year with Last Voyage of the Demeter and Renfield. It's
when I think about what I think, people with big corporations and big investments, business-minded people, you would think you spend millions, maybe billions of dollars on something. You don't just throw stuff at the wall to see if it sticks. You find the right people to be successful that think things through, plan it out. That would be like if we were trying to get to the moon and you go, well, we basically know how to make rockets. Just, strap a rocket to some guy's ass and shoot him into space and see how it works. Yeah, you're not going to have a space program after that.
What haven't they done yet? They haven't done Frankenstein. They haven't done Frankenstein yet. They haven't tried doing...
Not since Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Well, no. Universal hasn't made an attempt to reboot Frankenstein. That was going to be part of the Dark Universe. They were going to have Javier Bardem was going to play the monster. I heard about that. Who I thought would have done a great job, actually. But I don't know.
I do think that, despite what I said earlier, I do think that remakes of the original Universal, if they want to do something with the Universal monsters, remakes of them in the style of that, the way they did that 2010 Wolfman is exactly the way to go. And you give them the look and feel of the originals with modern actors that could then be brought into sequels and then start tying them all together.
You're right. Van Helsing
Yeah,
was the
Van
last
Helsing
time.
had its problems
Oh,
too.
it
That was
had some
probably
problems. Yes.
that was probably the best attempt at the unified, what do you call it,
Oh,
shared universe thing. But
ridiculous.
there was, yeah, the story is that we were going to have a rewatch on somebody else's channel, and I said I'm going to have some serious drinks if I'm going to get through this. I got so drunk I wasn't able to do the stream. Seriously, I was just
I
out of
remember that was on
Wolf Den Media's
Wolfman Media's
channel,
channel.
yeah.
Yes, and I
And you
I
filled
kept
in
yelling
for
out
me.
for you during certain scenes of the movie. It's like Troy, because we were going to be the detractors, and it was
Yes,
Wolfton. I forgot who else was on there. Was going to be the defender of that, and it was just, oh man,
it was terrible.
I like Kate Beckinsale, but in the underworld movies, there's some
Yeah.
monster movies, not Van Helsing. Oh man, I wanted to like Van Helsing so bad. The vampire
And
baby,
again,
yeah, among other things, yes, there was the vampire baby nonsense.
and then again, there was also the elements of, you know, the burned out windmill and stuff like that. These tiebacks to the originals, that was showing that somebody had some idea about what they were doing, but it just went all in the wrong direction. And honestly, I feel like this is going to be too. This is probably going to make money. And it's probably going to do at least as well as the Invisible Man, and that's it. It's not going to get a sequel. Nobody's going to care.
There's an untapped market for these movies. They if they just see it. Someone made a joke that Disney could be remaking them soon enough, and I wonder, are those movies going to go public domain at some point, so anybody can take the Universal monsters, that brand, and just do what they want with them?
I mean, eventually, maybe. I actually don't know if it would be within our. Well, how many years is it for these kinds of movies?
I don't know. Just, I feel like this is a leftover of something they were trying to do and that they don't want to do anymore, but they still got to release it. Like they're trying to do this as a straight up R-rated horror movie, which I kind of get. But then what makes it different than all the other werewolf movies
Okay,
we've seen,
I just
right?
looked it up. So the 1931 Dracula will go into public domain in 2027.
Good luck, Universal. You're done. Your time to have tried doing a
because the fact is, and again, they're going to run into the same problem, or maybe problem is the wrong way to say it, that Disney does. Remember, Steamboat Willie went into public domain. What does that mean for Disney? Not a lot, because they still have a trademark on.
You can't trademark Dracula. It's public domain.
No, you can't, but you can trademark the elements that make him
until the movie goes public domain. Until the movie goes public domain, and then you can have anyone wearing the iconic Bela Lugosi costume, right? In your movie, Sony could do their own monster universe if they wanted to.
Well, see, therein lies the problem. I don't think, whereas Mickey Mouse was trademarked, I don't think that they have done that in this way with, well, maybe they have. I don't know. The iconic look of, so for things like what's it called? Frankenstein with the bolts in the neck and the flat head.
Yes, that was Universal. And I'm going to bring this to what Darth Plato's saying. Yes, the book is, but like Universal's interpretation of that, the one that people got to know, they still own that. For instance, when Hammer Horror were making their Frankenstein movie in the late 50s, Universal basically said, if you copy any element, any physical, because they were already angry they were doing it, and they said, if you copy anything, your monster looks like ours. I guess they used the what is it, the thing getting sent up to the lightning, you do any of that, we will sue you into oblivion. So they had to
And
make
keep in
their
mind,
Frankenstein
too,
movie as
that
different as
there
they could
are
otherwise.
things in those original Universal films that were different from the original books.
Yes.
So names of characters, sometimes composite characters, and things like that. Especially true with the sequels. When you have, the Son of Frankenstein and so forth, or the daughter of Dracula. These were characters completely originally created by Universal. Larry Talbot. Larry Talbot is
Wolfman.
a Universal creation that is not tied to any original novel or book or anything. It is a movie character only. So this is why I don't understand why they're not doing something with their own property.
You're going to lose them, and then you'll be left with nothing. Get it together, Universal. Take a risk for once in your life, please. You've been risk averse since Scott Pilgrim came out in theaters. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
So we get a low budget Wolfman horror movie, which may or may not be good, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm not excited. I'll say that. There we go.
Well, are you excited for Mission Impossible 8?
I guess. I mean, I've liked the other ones. I kind of feel this is a part 2 and they took too long to release it, but I'll still go see it. I wish the best.
I understand why they took so long, though.
Director Lee will not. No, wait, that's Mission Impossible. Oh, well, my notes got messed up. Excuse me. Well, I go to the article itself.
That's okay. Yeah, just click on the link.
I copied the same thing twice. Why did I do that? All right.
Because you're a boomer.
I think I must have. Okay. Mission Impossible. There we go. Through Apple Safari, the best web browser. If it lets me read the stupid article. Mission Impossible 8 trailer coming out. We excited. Did you watch the trailer?
I did.
They're always big events. The title for Tom Cruise's 8th Mission Impossible movie has finally been revealed along with the first trailer. The Final Reckoning is now the official title for Mission Impossible 8, which was originally slated to be part 2 of 2023's Dead Reckoning. It's scheduled to be released on May 23rd, 2025. The film originally was set for 2022, but was delayed multiple times by the pandemic and SAG-AFTRA actors strike.
That really is force majeure. There's really nothing they could do about that.
Okay.
I will say this. I do think that The Final Reckoning is a much better title than Dead Reckoning 2.
You know what? I'll say this. It at least keeps the Reckoning in the title so you know it's part 2. So I'll give the points. Cruise revealed the title on a poster Monday morning along with the caption, "Every choice has led to this." In the action-packed trailer, Cruise scuba dives and explores a wrecked submarine, flies and falls out of a biplane, and does a lot of running. Angela Bassett is also revealed to be back as CIA Director Erica Sloan after she first appeared in Mission Impossible Fallout. What's neat about these Mission Impossible movies, if, like, say you only saw the first one and you jumped in the Dead Reckoning, you don't necessarily have had to have seen the other ones. I mean, he's got new teammates, but which you would have seen in the prior films, but they in Dead Reckoning, Cruise's Ethan Hunt finds himself up against a dangerous AI program called the Entity that seems to predict his every move and could cause disaster if it falls into the wrong hands. After escaping a calamitous train crash at the end of the movie, Ethan realizes the Entity is stashed aboard an old Russian submarine, but a foe from Ethan's past named Gabriel, played by Isai Morales, is also on the trail. Morales returns for the upcoming movie. In addition, I hope he would. He was the villain in the last one. In addition to Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, Haley Atwell, Vanessa Kirby, Palm Clemente, Shay Wingam, Henry Cersei, Greg Tar. Okay, a lot of actors here. But I will say this. It was actually starting, I think, with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. That came out around the holidays, that movie, years back. And this was when they weren't doing any James Bond movies because that stupid, they were waiting for MGM to get sold and they wouldn't make another Bond movie. And those were put on hiatus. And they said, well, you know what? I don't get a James Bond movie this Christmas, but at least I get a new Mission Impossible movie this Christmas. So in a lot of ways, this series has been my replacement James Bond series. As far as espionage movies.
Yeah. I would say that it's a step up from what they've been doing with James Bond.
I mean, these have been a lot of fun. I like the inclusion of Simon Pegg in them too. He adds a lot. They've done better in more recent pictures of adding the ensemble cast too.
You mentioned
So
Haley
it's
Atwell. You got my
yeah, she was
attention
introduced
there.
in the last picture. Oh man, they have her doing the voice of Lara Croft on that new
I
Tomb Raider
know. Just let
show.
her. She could just play the role, right? She could
Tell me about it. She's perfect. I'm not going to say for many reasons. Anyway,
yes, yes.
that's all I'm going to say on that matter. But she would have been perfect for Lara Croft. But no. Now I hear they're doing the Amazon series. There's a rumor it's going to be played by the actress that played Sansa Stark. The one who was married
I have
to
no
the
interest.
Jonas
I have
Brothers.
zero
Just
interest.
no, and no, I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. But yeah, so Mission Impossible. I'm hoping this movie will be a hit. It may be the last Mission Impossible movie. I don't know. Will it be the last one? Will it really be the last one? Possibly. I don't know.
Do you think that it's the last one with Tom Cruise? Maybe Tom Cruise backs out.
Cruise is 10 years younger than Liam Neeson, so Cruise should be able to do this for some more years. You know, you got a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
mean, here's the thing. We're sitting here speculating, not having any clue what it is Tom Cruise has planned for the next 10 years.
He'd like to keep doing them.
He's
been open about saying that. He's not ready for the series to end. So
gotcha.
If he wants to do them, he's still in great shape.
He could even executive produce them, and he just becomes the M type character, and he's feeding off
the one who John Voight was playing in the original.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
What's his name played on the original series, but yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. She played Jean Grey in the new X-Men. Yes, she did.
Yeah, and that was just brilliant, right? We all love that.
Okay, next article. Doctor Who news.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I don't have a dog in this hunt. I already own all this stuff on DVD, so I don't care what.
So what do you say? What is your famous saying? Own physical media.
Then they can never take it away from you.
Despite assembling its largest Doctor Who library to celebrate its 60th anniversary, the BBC are set to remove several classic era stories from its streaming library. As part of the show's milestone celebrations in 2023, the corporation set out to host nearly the entirety of the franchise on the iPlayer platform, from the classic era to the modern revival, to other spin-offs and documentaries. Alongside hosting nearly the entirety of the series from 1963 to Doctor Who Season 14, the iPlayer would soon become home to several exclusive documentaries and behind-the-scenes series. Just over a year after the BBC brought all available Doctor Who media onto its platform, Radio Times reported that 2 stories have been removed from the iPlayer platform. Terror of the Zygons and the Seeds of Doom have been removed from the service, leaving Tom Baker's 4th Doctor's Season 13 Adventures incomplete. Those are some major episodes, as I recall.
Yes, they are. The first and the last serials of that season.
That's ridiculous. While no official announcement or explanation was given ahead of the removal, the BBC would later issue a statement highlighting that the rest of the catalog that they still had secured rights to host would remain on the service. The Whoniverse contains over 800 hours of Doctor Who content, making it the biggest collection of Doctor Who programming in one place, which includes all the episodes that we have the rights to.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because I guess the thing I subscribe to, which is BritBox, doesn't have the new Who on it; it just has the classic Who on it. Which
that's a good one, so you're fine.
Well, we'll see. Sarah of the Zygons may be off of there.
Well,
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's the American streaming service. Due to the nature of how Doctor Who was written throughout the classic era, there were several classic characters and monsters that the BBC does not outright own. In several cases, writers retain the copyright over the characters, as opposed to other franchises such as Star Wars and Marvel, where the rights they're with the company themselves. Not only has this left the BBC having to renegotiate for the use of certain characters, as well as hosting certain stories, but has in the past allowed these writers to develop their own projects with the characters. The 4th Doctor and K9 developed one of the most memorable companion pairings across many episodes of Doctor Who's classic series, while the removal of Terror of the Zygons and the Seeds of Doom, both written by Robert Banks Stewart may leave some viewers disappointed, it's likely a matter of time until the stories find themselves back. Big Finish's Doctor Who audio drama range lost the rights to host Zygon-centered stories in 2022 briefly, but not only are the productions available once more following negotiations with Banks Stewart's estate, but a new line focused on the aliens is in development. As such, it is likely the BBC will also renegotiate to host episodes. This could be they haven't renegotiated for those rights. Question though, weren't the Zygons used during the New Who era as well? I remember some Capaldi episodes had the Zygons on them.
Yeah.
So are those also removed?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Though the BBC brings together most of Doctor Who's available catalog on their service was a major milestone for the franchise, it also led to an event that highlighted the complications surrounding the show's rights. Currently, the platform is unable to host the series' very first episode, An Unearthly Child, due to the intervention of writer Anthony Coburn's son, Seth Coburn, who claims he owns the license to write and withdrew them due to his own bigoted views as the show cast people of color and LGBTQ plus performers in leading roles. That is this site saying this. I don't know what the truth is in this, because I know people tend to slander people. We don't know the full story there. The BBC does not have the rights to the first episode of Doctor and Unearthly Child, and the reason stems from the show's original development. Despite the fears that the two Baker story removals may lead to a similar absence from the iPlayer's library, the past has fortunately shown that the Banks Stewart estate is more than happy to allow the use of their characters so long as the proper permissions and credits are given. As such, it may only be a matter of time until fans can enjoy the first Doctor Who adventure with the Zygons on iPlayer once more. So if you're in England and you have iPlayer, you are Zygonless.
Yes. Unless, of course, you have it on physical media. Yes.
What in the world? Seeds of Doom was a great story. Didn't care for the Zygons one. Okay. You know what's one of my... I for a while, I was trying to rewatch a lot of the classic Who's. I was starting with the John Pertwee era. Inferno was a great story. The finale of the first season with Pertwee.
Right.
Where he goes into the alternate universe where there's the evil brigadier.
Right.
Do you remember that? It basically in this alternate Earth and alternate England, it's like something out of George Orwell's 1984. You could tell that's what they were basing it on.
Yeah.
And it's this horrible place. But he argued he was trying to fix the TARDIS because the Time Lords took his ability to time travel away from him. And by trying to fix it, he didn't go forward or backward. He said he slipped sideways. Does that make sense?
Yep.
He went to an alternative Earth. Anyway, Sydney Sweeney was in the news.
Yeah, and I'm liking this girl more and more all the time.
Sydney Sweeney wants to be a movie star. That's what she wants, and they're not letting her be one. I've come to this conclusion.
They can stop her. I don't think they can stop her.
There's your Supergirl.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, she would make a great Supergirl
or Power Girl, maybe. But okay, but anyway,
well, yes.
Anyway, I'm not saying
put her in a bustier, maybe.
Sydney Sweeney is calling out Hollywood over the authenticity of its attitude toward female empowerment. During a recent interview with Vanity Fair, the 27-year-old actress slammed the entertainment industry's mantra of women empowering other women as fake. While speaking with the outlet, Sweeney has asked about a previous incident in which a female producer disparaged the Euphoria star's physical appearance and talent. It's very disheartening to see women tear other women down, especially when women who are successful in other avenues of the industry see younger talent working really hard, hoping to achieve whatever dreams that they may have, and then trying to bash and discredit any work that they've done, Sweeney said. This entire industry, all people say is women empowering other women. None of it's happening. All of it is fake and a front for all the other stuff they say behind everyone's back. Word isn't stuff, but anyway, the two-time Emmy Award nominee speculated about why she believes women might not genuinely support other women. I mean, there's so many studies and different opinions on the reasoning behind it. I've read that our entire lives we were raised, and it's a generational problem to believe only one woman can be at the top. There's one woman who can get the man. There's one woman who can be, I don't know anything, she explained. So then all the others feel like they have to fight each other or take that one woman down instead of being like, let's all lift each other up, the White Lotus actress said. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to do my best over here. Why am I getting attacked? None of it's happening. All of it is fake and a front for all the other crap that they say behind everyone's back. Sydney Sweeney.
Well, and it's honestly, this isn't something new. I think anybody who's been in Hollywood forever will tell you this is how it's always been. It's, dog eat dog, backbiting all the time. And some are better at it than others. So, look, nobody likes somebody who's catty. So if you're going to be catty, you've got to do it in a way that doesn't look catty, right? And but look, there's been Hollywood gossip for generations now. And you go back to the classic days of Hollywood and you see certain female stars that, clearly didn't like each other. They had on-screen feuds, off-screen feuds, were in all the scandal rags, with the things they would say about each other, who was sleeping with whose husband, blah, 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 this and that. Nothing has changed. If you're expecting to find anything like professionalism in the entertainment industry, you're looking at the wrong industry.
Well, but where can she go, right?
Yeah, and I don't think she intends to go anywhere else. She's going to keep doing what she's doing. She's going to let people say what they're going to say. She's just not. Apparently, what she seems to be saying is, I'm not buying into it. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And she's calling out other people for doing it. And she's not even calling out anyone specifically. She's saying it in general.
I don't know. I heard another story that she and Zendaya are having to pass on projects because they're still waiting for Euphoria season 3 to get off the ground. I think they want out of that show.
Yeah.
You have a star in your hands, Hollywood. Use her while you can before she decides to quit. But yeah, she was making a point about, I think it was a film producer. I think they were making a point. In April, longtime film producer Carol Baum attended a screening of her 1988 movie Dead Ringers at the Jacob Burns Film Center in New York and later criticized Sweeney's looks and acting ability, according to Daily Mail. During a panel discussion after the screening, Baum reportedly said there was an actress everybody loves, Sydney Sweeney. I don't get Sydney Sweeney. Wow. She's doing this during a panel discussion about her movie. She's not even...
But
no one brought it up. No one brought up this movie.
Here's
Sydney
the funny
Sweeney
thing. These Hollywood elites, nobody gives a flying F what they think. We just found that out a couple weeks ago, if we weren't clear on that before. Yeah. But you know who does care? The audience. They're the ones that care about Sydney Sweeney. They're the ones with the money. Just saying. If you want the money, you go after the people that got the money. The people that aren't paying you, the ones that are being paid by you, tell them the STFU.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Oh no. No.
This one made me laugh.
I can't deal with this movie. I just can't.
This one, for once, was not the movie company. This was not any of the actors involved with the movie. In fact, I think the actors in the movie were thankful that this happened because it got attention off of their ridiculous antics behind the scenes.
Mattel was made aware of a misprint on the packaging of Mattel Wicked Collection dolls, primarily sold in the United States, which intended to direct consumers to the official wickedmovie.com landing page. The company said
that's very crucial. Wickedmovie.com. That word movie in there is incredibly important.
We deeply regret this unfortunate error and are taking immediate action to remedy this. Parents are advised that the misprinted, incorrect website is not appropriate for children. Consumers who already have the product are advised to discard the product packaging or obscure the link and may contact Mattel customer service for further information. This is why the world needs copy editors. So this is a Mattel screw up, if I'm getting this right?
Yes, it is.
Due to the unfortunate...
Somebody in the graphic design department at Mattel effed up royally.
Someone in the graphic design department is more familiar with a certain website, I think. Anyway,
No, maybe, I don't know, but it's an easy mistake to make unless you have an editor, someone that double checks, proofreads. This is what we talk about with some of these articles that we're reading. There is no quality control at all. And this is a major screw up. I don't know if this article covers it, but I heard in a follow-up that the entire shipment of toys was recalled because of this. That is a huge financial loss. I don't know if this goes as far as to negate the bump in sales they got last year from Barbie.
I don't know. Now I'm thinking of some kid wanting to go to the website now. This is this is going to happen, right? Think about it.
I'll be interested to see if any stories come out of this. So obviously, Wicked Movie is the promotional site
for Wicked Pictures,
for Mattel and the movie and whatnot. But if you drop the movie part, it takes you to the studio, the customer facing webpage for the studio where you could buy adult films.
That's
that
really
studio
bad.
Puts out.
That's really bad.
Now, if they're smart, they will do a Wicked adult parody and feature it on that website. I would if I was them. Again, thinking of the marketing.
Speaking of characters in green makeup, tune into actors in green makeup dancing seductively. Tune into the Star Wars.
Yeah, tomorrow night we'll have a little bit of that anyway.
If we're watching the Thank the Maker cut, anyway.
Yes,
not
exactly.
Of course anything too extreme because we're not like anyway. But the website,
Darth Plato says collector's item.
Oh boy.
Andre over at Midnight Edge said, I have no interest in this movie, these products, or the toys. He said, but now suddenly I kind of wish I had one of them. It's probably going to go up in value, maybe.
What a disaster.
Keep in mind, these figures are, how Mattel is the one with the license to Barbie. These are basically the Barbie version of these characters. And this misprint, I'll be honest, I'd say about 80% of the kids that got these toys never even paid attention to any of that.
They probably don't know how to type in an address bar, probably.
Well, even if they did, they had no... You bought a toy. Why would I want to go to a website? I bought a toy,
Well, I joke that people don't know how to do the things that we used to know how to do on computers, like typing in a website address. But sometimes people mess up. Yeah, sometimes people mess up, but I will say this is the sort of thing that gets you canned. I used to work at a newspaper, and they used to make whenever like Jay Leno or Letterman, it was Leno who would do his funny newspaper headlines, the night where someone screwed up a typo. There was a rule going on at the editorial desk. If your headline made it on Jay Leno, you don't have a job anymore. Okay, basically.
Wow.
Yes, I'd heard that.
That
don't like that.
Kind of makes sense when you really think about it, right? I mean,
yeah.
My goodness.
Like the hacker that replaced the Disney Channel with that channel. Interesting.
I did hear about that, yes. Now it wouldn't make a difference. It's basically the same thing.
But are you excited for Wicked?
No, I'm just imagining tuning into the Disney Channel, seeing the Playboy Channel, and like going a half hour, not even realizing that it wasn't the Disney Channel.
Oh, that's funny. Now I thought about that now. Oh boy.
I was not gonna be patronizing this film anyway after the shenanigans. I loved the play. I will not see the movie. I've also been burned by Cats and Les Miserables and Phantom of the Opera, so I was not going to be going to see this anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I did laugh because this is Mattel, and I've got my issues with Mattel too. So this is about the weirdest article you've sent me this year.
You think so?
I
know
do.
I know you're enticed, as in icing.
I see nothing wrong with the food here. It all looks like stuff I would probably enjoy.
All right.
I don't see how it's Indiana Jones related.
Quiet you.
Or even why it's Indiana Jones related. Why now?
I'll explain. Because on the Xbox, there's a big holiday release called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, starring Tony Todd, which might be one of his last performances. Anyway, but Indy better...
Actually, he's got like 3 or 4 projects
I know.
in post-production, so it's not, but...
Indy better steady himself for his most challenging adventure yet. It's Indiana Jones.
Diabetes!
You know something. Smart guy. Let me get through this, all right?
I gotta get my jokes in, man.
You're gonna get them in this round, okay? It's Indiana Jones and the overwhelming tie-in menu. Oh, that should be a poster in the IHOP, right?
That actually is good marketing. That I buy. Yes.
IHOP announced today they are now the official breakfast partner of Xbox, and to kick the partnership off, they are making an entire themed menu inspired by one of Xbox's big holiday releases, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a new game based off the beloved movie franchise. The centerpiece of this Indiana Jones contains 3 variations of what I guess is now canonically Indy's favorite food, stuffed French toast. You heard it here first, folks. I have a... Okay.
I have a lot of questions, but go ahead.
Last year, they did a Willy Wonka themed menu.
That makes sense.
For the Wonka movie that came out last December.
Sure.
Why didn't they do like Paddington? Like they did Paddington in Peru. They could have done like marmalade stuff. But no, instead they do like this Indiana Jones
syrup and stuff like that.
Maybe, like orange flavored things. I don't know. But no, that's not what we're getting here. Okay. Here are some of the menu items.
Chilled monkey brains.
That's
cut open a sausage and snakes come out of it.
It's no longer. That's like
a soup with eyeballs in it.
All right. Maybe at Chili's during Halloween time. Anyway,
yes.
The great.
Well, actually, that's probably that's probably year round.
You get funny mixed drinks with gummy like eyes in it, or like vampire teeth or something. They do that at Chili's. The Great Circle of Cinnamon. This treasure trove is layered with rich cinnamon spread and drizzled with sweet cream cheese icing that will make you feel like you've uncovered an ancient culinary secret. What do you think of that?
Uncovered a colon something, yeah.
Okay. Secret cookie butter. Creamy cookie butter and vanilla sauces topped with a dusting of cookie crumbles, reminiscent of the long-lost treasures found in faraway lands. That's
comes with a free blood sugar tester.
Something. Buried treasure. It's a play on buried treasure. Gemstones of juicy glazed blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries, and a drizzle of rich cream cheese icing. You can't help but want to take a bite out of this buried treasure.
These are really reaching. I mean... Willy Wonka made sense. Your idea of the Paddington thing made sense.
Yes, I don't know why they didn't go with Paddington.
I don't think the rights could have been that complicated. To me.
As part of this Indiana Jones adjacent feast, IHOP will also be selling cookie butter French toast sticks, Explorer's caramel apple butter hot chocolate, and something called the long lost cookie butter milkshake with cookie butter, cookie pieces, and rich vanilla ice cream that feels like you've uncovered forgotten treasure.
Don't even get me started talking about snozberries. We know what snozberries are.
Oh, dude, I wonder if that was on the Wonka menu last year.
I was going to say, and that totally that would totally fit on a Disney-related project.
Oh, no. Anyway, dude.
The snozberries taste like snozberries. Oh, God. No, that is so wrong. It is so wrong. How do you get a joke like that in a... Well, it was Roald Dahl.
Wait a minute. Doesn't Disney own Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Why didn't they just do a menu based on the Lion King prequel coming out? That might have made more sense. I don't. Is that what I'm feeling in the pit of my stomach? I thought it was existential dread. Sometimes these things are hard to pin down. If you are a longtime reader of Screen Crush, you know commitment to chronicling my own Indiana Jones. Okay, yes. Anyway, it goes on to say they're going to start these Great Circle items go on. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle goes on sale December 9th. IHOP will begin serving its Indiana Jones menu on November 18th. And if memory
Honestly,
serves,
they'll probably sell more of these confections here for breakfasts than they're actually going to sell of this stupid game.
Perhaps. Which is also coming to PlayStation 5. Remember, Xbox is everywhere, so you don't have to buy an Xbox. IHOP
Oh, yeah, you can play it in your cat box.
Dude. IHOP Silence of the Lambs menu coming soon. Oh, boy. Now I'm imagining a pancake.
I like that.
Now I'm imagining a pancake in the shape of the dude's face that was on Hannibal Lecter's face.
Right.
Oh, no. Right. And there's another face, and there's another pancake that looks like Hannibal Lecter underneath it, right? Come on.
Could you see one of those one of those face pancakes and in whipped cream on the side it says "I would eat me"?
That's disturbing.
Yes, it is.
It's like when you go to a barbecue place and you see the pig smiling wearing the chef's outfit. I'm like, is there a pig in the back cooking the barbecue? Just please don't.
Really? Is there a pig cooking the pigs? I mean, that's weird.
There was a disturbing line in an old Porky Pig cartoon where I think Daffy Duck or someone keeps making comments about his sister. Your sister was a candle maker. He keeps making these weird comments. Says, no, she's not. She's a butcher and she smokes hams. And I'm thinking, well, what did you just say?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like, but
was it? I can't remember. Was it? I want to say it was an old old Donald Duck. So Disney, when they introduced his nephews, there's something in the background that implies that their dad was dead, and specifically that he
it was pork sausages in a picture.
Oh, so it was the what do you call it? It was the Porky Pig.
Yeah.
It was Porky Pig. Yes, and it was pork sausage. Yeah,
of course.
Oh my God. Yeah, they definitely played around with that kind of stuff.
Looney Tunes had no shame. Question for you.
Yes.
Okay. You get breakfast meat with this. Could I get a chicken fried steak with this? That'd be perfect, No?
These do not look like meals that should be served with meat. I don't understand. These look like
eggs. You get eggs, hash browns. Come on, man. What? You think it's a dessert?
I mean, no,
you want to say it's a dessert. It's not a dessert. It's breakfast food. In America, we eat sweet things for breakfast.
I was just going to say, honestly, I would rather have just simple bacon and eggs for breakfast. This stuff, oh God, I just...
Oh no, if I go to IHOP, I got to get the blueberry pancakes with the blueberry compote on top, as they call it.
I did used to get those as a kid.
I like blueberry pancakes. I'm not going to lie. I do. But I might be willing to try this stuffed French toast, which is now canonically Indiana Jones's favorite. Breakfast.
Netter's handing me a blueberry pie.
Oh, that's funny. Hash browns are the bomb. Yes, they are. I have to say, if you think about it, Indiana Jones, international man of mystery, right? Went to France, spent time over there. I'm sure he enjoyed French toast over there. That's where he developed a taste for it. I'm sure it's in one of the novels, right? Is French toast even French?
No, I don't think so.
It's brioche bread, though. So it is French if it's brioche.
I was just gonna say, I don't think Belgian waffles are from Belgium either.
You kidding me? I always thought they were. Home fried potatoes.
Caesar salad. Caesar salad has nothing to do with Julius Caesar either.
There's going to be a fight in the chat now over which is better, hash browns or home fries. Ugh.
Oh no! I'm all like, why not both?
It's all the same thing. It's potatoes.
Well, it's not exactly the same thing.
Okay, moving right along. Oh, that's the end.
That is the end. Yeah, that's it. That's all we got.
Will it be the end for Indiana Jones? Find out when you go to your nearest IHOP. I know you're going to try to check these out sometime during the holiday season. right? You're going to get yourself a big honking piece of French toast and a
If I was going
milkshake.
to go to IHOP during the holiday season, I'd get something holiday themed.
Oh yeah, they'll probably have stuff like that too. Anything.
Yeah.
I went to Perkins today. They have special cinnamon rolls that you can buy, and one of them is based on campfire, and I think it has like I
Like a
don't know if it was
marshmallow fluff on
yeah,
it?
I think a marshmallow fluff icing plus chocolate chips on it, plus pretzels and potato chips sticking out of it.
I can actually see that. That's not a horrible combination.
It looked good, but I did the cherry pie, as I told you earlier.
Yeah.
You guys didn't talk about Rachel's. Yes. You know what? Maybe we'll do it next week. We had talked about it at the very beginning of the stream. We touched on it, even though we didn't have an article for it.
Yeah.
I was saying earlier, just
Well,
released
no, I mean we talked about what's her name, the cute blonde girl,
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. She basically kind of covered it for us, right? You know, these people are bad people and they're fakes. I mean that basically covered it. She might have as well been talking specifically about her.
Sweet cherry pie. Let's talk about Anne Francis again. We should do an entire Anne Francis stream. I think that might be an idea. After we do the Hazel Court stream. Sorry, I like Hazel Court also. She was an English actress. She starred in many of the Roger Corman Poe movies, actually. All right, this brings an end to the Geeky Geezers. And I guess what we have going on this week, tomorrow on Monday night, correct? We are going to have
That's right. Happy Life Day, everybody.
Happy Life Day.
We will be celebrating tomorrow.
It's still the Life Day season, though, so we can celebrate it
exactly.
tomorrow. Yes.
I actually mailed out. Well, it probably won't get to them until Christmas, but I mailed out a Life Day gift. Well, it'll go out tomorrow, actually. So yes, I agree. It's the Life Day season, right?
And then on Tuesday, we will be doing live from Sparkwood and 21.
Guys, this is going to be a very, very special live from Sparkwood and 21. I have been working all week on a video presentation for the first part of Twin Peaks: The Final Dossier by Mark Frost. First, those of you that like deleted scenes, I think fair enough, felt that the return did not give the closure on a lot of the story elements from, that were kind of left open-ended at the end of season 2. And even the characters that were touched on, there was a little bit of like, wait, what happened between then and now? A lot of those answers come in the Final Dossier, and I will be bringing that to you with a great deal of visual editing by yours truly over the past week. That's why we didn't have a proper thumbnail. I'm so sorry.
Okay. It's all right.
Sorry to. Yeah, I dropped the ball. It happens sometimes.
You could have had the Wolfman chasing Sydney Sweeney. Oh well.
Yeah,
that's the movie you make. That's the formula, right? People. There you go.
Exactly.
It's not hard. They used to know
this
back in the old days. I'm sorry. We need the cigar chomping producer behind the chair. We need him back.
We need somebody where somebody says, "Oh, that's sexist." What the hell are you talking about, sexist? We're making a movie here. Shut up. Get out of here.
Oh, you haven't seen. You haven't seen the movie Spinal Tap, but there's a scene in it where their manager is saying there was a complaint that your album cover was sexist. What's the matter? It's supposed to be sexy, and he says, "No, sexist, not sexy." It's funny. It's a funny. There's gonna be a mystery movie night podcast as well with Sin's Corner. I wonder what movie it's gonna be. Maybe you'll get a preview of The Wolfman. You never know.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if that's the case. So very special. Live from Sparkwood and 21, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes channel. Please be there because I put a lot of work into this one.
Yeah, it'll be
then followed by the next episode of Blake 7, which we're gonna enjoy, but I didn't put near as much effort into.
You'll have a running commentary on one of the great classic science fiction series.
Yeah, that's true.
And then on Wednesday there's nothing. On Thursday we have Netter's Network's Thursday Things, and it will be a special co-host that night in me. I will be on with Troy and Netter, and they will have special guest Brandon, the anime guy, and I will do my best to try and talk with anime with him.
He's really going to be there to translate anime to Troy and Netter.
If he's into the new stuff, I'm not as familiar, but I can probably still fake my way through.
Probably still know more than I do. So.
Okay. And that brings us to Friday, where I believe this Friday we're going to be doing the part 2 of our Marvel Before the MCU. Now, to be fair, this will be more centered on my picks, but you have a few in there too. Yes.
Yes, and we will still be talking about things that we loved, things that brought us into our love for Marvel characters and so forth. But
and things that didn't work.
Yeah, we will also be touching on some things that were terrible missteps. It wasn't just Disney that screwed up some storylines.
I got a couple.
Other different ones from mine.
Yes, we all have our own unique things. So there can be 10
well,
things.
Well, no, I know, but I'm like, the two I'm thinking of like stand out so much for me. I have a hard time thinking of anything.
No, we'll get to it. You'll see. Come Friday. All right.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Someone should be surprised, and it's not going to be.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, but and that'll lead us to Saturday night, which I believe will be on Netter's channel, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's if I'm not mistaken, Netter, it's that's what I thought it was. E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the original.
I've heard of it.
When they were still allowed to have guns in their hand when they're hunting them down and stuff.
On Soundtracks with Birdman, we rewatched that with guest host Katie Nicolau, right? The weather woman. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, yeah.
And when E.T.'s looking all sick and about to die, I think she was comparing him to beef jerky, and I was I was like, why did you do that? It's like, this is a horrifying scene, and you're.
Although honestly, when I saw it, I thought about old salami. It gets like that white, that white rind on the outside of the sausage. That's what I thought of.
That's creeping me out even further now. That's disturbing me. Now I'm seeing Scooby or Shaggy eating that old salami that they find in a basement of a haunted mansion.
Well, it's not inedible. I mean, it is still edible. It's I mean, let's face it, these preservation methods are safe, but you don't want to think too much about what they actually are, right? Just saying.
Remember, netter is better. Yes, but liquor is quicker. I'm sorry. That's from Willy. I learned that line from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as a kid. Candy's.
Yeah, I don't remember who the poet was who said that.
It's a great line. See, you learn things. The children's movies tend to be more literate than some of the adult ones. Let's be honest here. IHOP, Troy's menu. I'm telling you, he will be trying out that Indiana Jones, and they'll be washing it all down with one of those milkshakes too, right?
Ogden Nash.
And you'll get the French toast sticks as an appetizer. You'll just sugar it up that morning. Okay.
Ogden Nash wrote
Emmy award-winning. Yes, you're correct. Yes, she did win an Emmy.
That is the entire poem. The name of the poem, of course, is Reflections on Breaking the Ice.
Yes. Breaking the Ice. I wonder if she did a review of Twisters.
She did a watch party of it with us.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. No, the sequel, I mean.
Oh, that.
New
no.
one. Yes.
Oh, I should reach out to her and ask her. Yeah.
Action Theater presents Falling Down Thursday at 3:30. Thank you, Deleted Scenes. All right. So this will bring us back to Sunday where there are all sorts of things. I know Deleted Scenes does is Western cinema, and then unscripted, and then we'll come back to the Geeky Geezers at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m.
We don't know what we'll be talking about because we don't know what the news of the week is.
I'm thinking we maybe
very wealthy men.
You may just start have to digging into some of these celebrities running that won't stop running their mouth. I was going to give them a couple weeks to see, just get it out of their systems, but if they keep at it, I'm getting over it at this point.
It really is foolish because this is very clearly a situation where it should be obvious to them that they are now in the minority.
Your
And
influence did nothing.
They are insulting the majority of their potential audience now.
Yeah.
That wasn't clear until this election. It is very clear and obvious now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Geek Flag. But on that note, this has been a fun evening, and now we're going to go out.
Sounds
Any
good.
last words?
Farfignugan.
There we go. Farfignugan.